This is WABI-TV, Channel 5, Bangor. From Bangor and every city and town in eastern and central Maine. This is Channel 5 News.
Good evening, everyone. Denise is on assignment tonight. Words cannot express our love for our son Peter or our sorrow at his passing. The feelings of Peter McKernan's parents. Their son fought hard for 9 days, but his heart finally gave out. He was 20 years old. Peter's family and many friends gathered at a memorial service to remember him this afternoon. As told on the Dartmouth College campus, they played the song Wind Beneath My Wings. Those who knew Peter say he was an inspiration to everyone he touched. His father, Governor John McKernan, his wife, Representative Olympia Snow, along with Peter's mother, stepfather, and grandmother, entered Rollins Chapel for the service, as did many of his friends.
Gregarious kid. He was a very magnanimous, kid. He was always a very happy-go-lucky kind of kid, and he truly had a passion for everything that he did.
The Dartmouth baseball team came to the memorial service to remember their teammate. Peter was a shortstop who probably would have made the varsity team this year. A funeral service for Peter McKernan is scheduled for this Saturday at 2 p.m. in Bangor. The service will be at All Souls Church. His parents have asked that anyone wishing to donate something should contribute to the Peter McKernan Scholarship Fund. The address for that is P.O. Box 5601, Augusta, Maine, 04332. Peter's parents said they will always take comfort in the memory of their son's kindness and the warmth of his smile. Peter McKernan was described as the kind of son any parent would be proud of. Peter McKernan could often be found by his father's side, most recently at the governor's inauguration. A sophomore at Dartmouth College, his father's alma mater, Peter possessed the same love of athletics. The younger McKernan played tennis, soccer, and baseball, the sport he loved best. It was during an informal baseball practice last Monday that Peter collapsed of cardiac arrest. Peter often accompanied his father throughout the long election campaign, and once when John McKernan came down with laryngitis, Peter even filled in, delivering his election speech.
Today I am asking the citizens of Maine for a chance to build on our accomplishments. I'm asking to be your governor for 4 more years. With your help and support, we can keep Maine moving forward. Thank you.
Peter's parents were divorced when he was young, but he was close to both of them. It was his father's political career, though, which made Peter a public figure.
In the spotlight in front of cameras it's getting to be more normal. I've been doing this since I was 12, I think, 11 or 12. So, which helps also in today. I've heard him give speeches many times, so.
He was the son of the governor, a stepson to a congresswoman, and grandson to a Bangor city councilor. But Peter will be remembered best for the person he was, the kind of son any parent would be proud of. 2 Oakland police officers were injured and their cruiser damaged after a car crash this afternoon. They were heading toward Waterville on Kennedy Memorial Drive at 3:30. According to Oakland Police Chief Joel Abbott, a tractor-trailer coming off the interstate apparently failed to yield. The cruiser hit the truck in the rear end. The officers were taken to Mid-Maine Medical Center. One suffered a concussion, the other a broken nose, but both have been released. Charges are pending an investigation. A Trenton woman was killed in a head-on collision on Route 1A in Holden this morning. Another person was injured. 30-year-old Judy Sanborn was driving west when her car hit a patch of ice and skidded. A car traveling east, driven by 46-year-old Wayne Elliott of Brewer, struck her. Elliott was taken to a hospital with a broken leg and arm. Police say Sanborn was wearing a seatbelt. Traffic was tied up for about 2 hours. And the body found in Newfield, Maine, has been identified as 27-year-old Sean Conway of Freedom, New Hampshire. State police from both states are investigating his murder. Authorities say he had been beaten. The warrant for a former Maine resident in connection with the killing of a Texas County constable was dropped this afternoon. The car used by the killers was registered to Jose Gabriel Galvin, who lived in Turner, Maine at one time. David Well at the Texas Department of Public Safety told Channel 5 News today the constable's video camera caught some very good color pictures of his killers. Police no longer believe Galvin was involved. 2 of the 3 men seen in the pictures are charged with murder. The search for the 3rd man is continuing. U.S. and allied forces had the upper hand today as the Gulf War intensified in its 9th day. President Bush is cautioning against talk of an early victory. CBS News correspondent Juan Vasquez has the latest on the U.S.-led war effort in the Persian Gulf.
With the weather clear, Allied pilots stepped up the bombing campaign, flying 3,000 sorties in one of the most intensive days of air activity since the war began.
Our target was a Scud missile factory.
And a Saudi pilot flying an American-made F-15 quickly became the envy of every would-be Top Gun. He knocked out 2 Iraqi jets that dared to venture into Saudi airspace. Naval commanders say they've been using A-6s to mine Iraq's only naval facility at Qusayr. At the same time, the largest amphibious force since the Korean War staged a rehearsal today in the Arabian Sea in another effort to worry Saddam about when and where he will be hit. Early this morning, U.S. Marines staged a daring hit-and-run artillery raid on Iraqi forces inside Kuwait, firing 35 rounds of high explosives from the border and then dashing back before the enemy could retaliate. American artillery officers say they're outgunned by the Iraqis 5-1. Until the enemy guns can be knocked out from the air, U.S. counter-strategy will have to rely on speed and stealth. Juan Vasquez, CBS News, Eastern Saudi Arabia.
Senate Majority Leader George Mitchell was one of the senators who voted against the U.S. military action in the Gulf War, favoring sanctions a while longer. Now that the war has begun, Senator Mitchell thinks the U.S. should do several things to bring about a swift conclusion to the war.
I believe that our position now should be threefold. First, to encourage all action to bring about a swift conclusion to the war. Second, to make clear our strong and unqualified support for the men and women of our armed forces, to make certain that they receive all possible assistance to enable them to do their jobs with the least risk to themselves. And third, to begin the planning for what will be a very difficult period following hostilities.
Congress passed a veterans' compensation bill this afternoon. The measure calls for a cost of living adjustment for disabled veterans and their families. 4 CBS journalists covering the war in the Gulf are reported missing after Saudi military patrol found their empty car in northern Saudi Arabia. The 4 include veteran newsman Bob Simon. These are pictures of the crew that was with him. CBS has not heard from the men since Monday. A spokesman for the network says, though he believes the 4 men are with, quote, friendly forces. Well, it was a rather balmy day outside, but that's all going to change. We'll be back in the icebox, as Chris says it's going to be a frigid Friday. Stay with us.
I don't want people walking into this dealership afraid that they're going to be pressured.
You're absolutely right. Buying a car should be fun.
So how do we do that?
2 ways. The right atmosphere, relaxed, comfortable, informative, and a real price on every car up front.
Let's make people feel Dowlings doesn't want to sell them just one vehicle. We want to sell them the next 4.
Darling's Ford VW Audi. The difference is real.
There's no big secret to the taste of Dunkin' Donuts. It's just that we haven't changed the way we make them in 40 years. We still make them fresh day and night, and we still make them by hand. How else could Dunkin' Donuts bring the goodness of yesterday to the customers of today?
Like, do you have any jelly donuts? Coming right up.
Skiers, there's snow on the mountains, and that means skiing's fun. Taylor Sporting Goods has the absolute lowest prices on ski packages in the state. Cross-country packages retail for $249. At Taylor's, a low $89.95. Beginning downhill packages include Elan skis, Gatesay bindings, multi-adjustable boots, and matching pole. Retail price $720. Taylor's price $179.95. Come out and compare our products as well as our prices with any other ski shop. We'll beat them hands down every time. Taylor Sporting Goods, China, Brewer, and West Bath.
Well, Well, it almost felt like spring, at least for maybe 45 minutes out there today.
Yeah, got all the way up to 31 balmy degrees.
Wow. That's the January thaw?
That was it. I think actually last Sunday we got to 42, so that was probably it. And now it's going to be back in the old, as you said, ice. Well, you tried to say ice box.
I tried to say ice box so well. I'll let you say it.
Let's see what we have out there right now. Temperature's dropping off. Still not super cold yet, but it's on its way down. We were in the 20s, about 26 at 6 o'clock, down to 18. The dew point is dropping down to 5. Winds are still fairly brisk out of the northwest at 11 miles per hour. And we have a rising barometer. Still a few flurries back in the western mountains of Maine, northern New Hampshire, portions of Vermont State, and also back through portions of New York State. But most of those will be confined to the mountains over the next several hours and should be dissipating. Otherwise, just some patchy clouds. Some areas mostly clear, other areas partly cloudy skies. 18 here in Bangor, as it is down in Waterville, 22 down in Portland, 10 degrees up in Greenville, 12 degrees in Holton this hour. Calais comes in at 14, and the cool spot seems to be Limestone at 7. Indication of how cold aloft it is, 12 below atop Mount Washington. One storm system off to the